Um, so there is a guy. His name is Hayden Mason. Or calls himself Nomad because that's his race name is. It's a guy I dealt with for. He was in Redline and I dealt with him for like I guess it's nearly like a year and a half, probably pushing over that. To give you kind of an idea of what this guy is like, he's a home wrecker.
Oh.
That's one. That's one thing that he is.
That's only one
that's
thing?
one
That's like
thing.
a big thing to just be part of it. Damn.
Well, the best way I can describe him is everything you can think about like everything you would hate about a person, like one little trait, he's probably got 80 to 90% of those traits.
Okay.
Homewrecker, manipulator, just everything under the fucking sun.
Vegetarian.
That I don't know about, but it wouldn't surprise me. There's not many people like I genuinely hate. Like I think there's 2, 3 people. He's one of them. Like genuinely hate them. And so he tried to home wreck me before. When I was with someone before Cora. I've witnessed him do it to other people. And when we were in Redline together, he was just downright just disrespectful, manipulative, always had an issue, would just deliberately stir for the sake of stirring, but not, I guess there's no good stirring, but you know, to no end, I guess.
I mean, you could have literally just told me, like, I just didn't like this fucking guy, and I'd be like, I get it. Because, like, sometimes that's how it is. Like, sometimes you just don't gel with people, but everything you're saying, I'm like, yeah, I fucking get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
And when I was in Redline, I kind of found myself getting closer to the main leaders just because of how I am. You know, I like to keep people informed. I like to, you know, the betterment of the group and all that kind of stuff. And he was one of the main people that would question why I was doing it, that I was just kind of kissing up to them, that I was doing it for my own personal gain, trying to turn people against me, just all that kind of shit.
Jesus, okay.
Ultimately, Redline at one point went to Spain, and it didn't go well for him. He ended up getting kicked, / leaving, one of the two. I had no, like, when that whole crew went to Spain, I wanted nothing to do with it. But that was kind of, I didn't have to deal with him anymore. Didn't really see him for a long time. And didn't have to think about it. Until a couple days ago. To now he's latching himself onto BBMC.
I know how that goes.
He's already, in terms of, I don't want to say home wreck and stuff, but just, he's already apparently been hanging out or trying to get close to Aubrey. He's flirted with Faye, and Faye's gotten bad vibes from him, along with Theo getting bad vibes from him.
Okay, well that's at least 3 of my club members that are uncomfortable with this fucker. Even 1 would be enough for me, so. Like,
and he's also Jesse's ex as well.
Okay, well then, like, extra fuck that.
Yeah, it keeps compounding.
Oh my god, okay.
But he's been hanging around, and he's been...
Oh, Steven!
Hi, Barry. Just so you know, the Club Sultan, Finn has it right now. It's gonna go to Benny, but I just wanted to make sure it was in somebody's name who can get it out here.
Okay.
Because I'm still... Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah.
What's up,
Is
sluts?
Colin blonde?
That's what I was thinking.
He's just old. Apparently.
Oh.
Is he blonde or old? It's the
I
new
don't
spin-off
know.
of Blonde or
I
European.
need someone to bring me an MRPD. I gotta steal a cop car. Oh my god.
He's saying, oh my god, like he's not going to enjoy everything that comes from that.
Yeah, literally, he's like, oh my god,
Oh no, why do I have to do
how dare
this?
I have to do the favorite thing that to do? Like, oh, shucks.
A fucking 2-hour chase off, a fuck's, you know, yeah. Remember what was I saying?
You were talking about how he was Jesse's ex.
Oh yeah. But he's been hanging around. Obviously, that side he's been trying to latch himself onto. Literally just the bunnies, in one sense.
That, hate that.
Yeah. And that's just what he is. In one sense of it. He's been hanging around a lot in D-Gen with Kaiba, doing jobs, which I can somewhat see as, you know, around that time, city gets very quiet, right? And if you find yourself part of, you know, a different group of just a mismatch of people just wanting to do stuff together, then, you know,
Yeah, that's
happens. Fine. That happens, yeah. That's...
Just to clarify, so he's no longer part of Red Line, right?
No.
Okay.
No, yeah. No part of... when I found out about this, I said to a few people, and I said to Kaiba, and I wasn't trying to control a narrative against this guy. Like, I didn't... The last thing I want, Stevie, is for the same shit that happened in Redline to happen here. That my actions that I do for the betterment, in my opinion, of the club are perceived as me sucking up... Yeah, that is me sucking up to whoever to get personal gain. That's not what I want. It's never what I want. I don't care. I have what I want, you know?
Yeah.
So that I'm very conscious of that.
Yeah, I mean, it's just that whole thing where it's like, I feel like with what happened in Redline, it's like, even if that was the furthest thing away from in your mind, this seems like a person who, it doesn't matter what you did, if you had something against them, they would find a way to make you look bad to the people that...
Yeah, their presence, like their presence alone, like it's just somebody that I'm not ever gonna want to be around. Like there was a meeting when I was still in Redline. There was a large-scale meeting because this had come to a head where two people in Redline had such major issues with me. One being him, another one being another guy. He's not a factor anymore. Like it came to a point where I was so just done with them as people that I sat around a table with 20 members there and told them that I hate these two people. In front of them, like I just straight up hate them. I will have nothing to do with them. I will not be friends with them. I will not talk to them. But if it comes down to it, if they need a pickup or they need, you know, something that will benefit the crew that, you know, just fuck the cops, I'll still pick them up. You know, I'm not gonna like let them go to jail or let them get hurt.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But so I told Faye, I told Kaiba, I told just people what he's like, and just for them to see it themselves. And within 3 days, he's shown all of that. 3-4 days, he's shown all of that. And it came to a point yesterday. Well, I told Kaiba that I didn't want him down here. I didn't want him around the Billy. I didn't want him around the bunnies. It's not my, like, I know everybody can handle themselves, but me personally, I don't want to see that, and I don't want it to happen. And I told him that if I see him down here, that I can't promise, like, I won't shoot him. That I won't kill this guy, take him and just leave him on the road somewhere. And the problem with that is I found out yesterday that he told Nomad that.
Okay.
Because Jessie had a talk with Nomad. For whatever reason, she told me all the details about it. He didn't specifically say to her that Kaiba was the one that told him. But I only told people inside the club, so it means it had to have come out of the club. So I got all the details from that. We were just sat over there by the chair. I was just talking about it by ourselves, and then I called everyone who was back, like, from the club. It was myself, Jesse, Faye, Finn, Winston, Kaiba, and Kelly. And the only people that I had told in that circle were Winston, Faye, and Kaiba. So I just straight up asked them, did any of you three, you know, tell Nomad that, you know, if he came down, I was gonna kill him? And Kaiba said he did. And that's kind of where I'm not okay. I don't know how to feel.
Yeah, that's a rough one. Has the club agreed that this motherfucker is not coming around the club anymore? Is that like agreed upon?
But Barry and Colin said, fuck this guy. Like, he just doesn't sound like, you know, everything I've said. Like, obviously I can only paint a picture. Like, it's, but they 100%, they agree with me. They want Kaiba's side now because of why he's done what he's done, or said what he said. But yeah, nobody I've heard is like advocating for this guy to still be hanging around the club.
Well, that's good. I mean, I feel like this whole thing is like hitting pretty close to home to me because of obvious shit that happened within the last like month.
Yeah.
And I think that if for whatever reason there is somebody who is coming around this club who is not a club member, who has done something or does something to make a club member uncomfortable, it is the priority that the club members are comfortable. There is so many people in this club, and there are so many people in this city who are not going to make each other uncomfortable, and there's no point for us to stick our neck out for somebody who does. Like, it's fucking stupid. And you know, obviously I wasn't around during this situation, but I hope you know that. I mean, I'm proud of you for standing your ground as fast as you did, because, you know, I think that's important. And, like, at least from me, like, just everything that I'm hearing, at least, it's like, well, I mean, fuck, like, there's people who I'm friends with, like, for a really long time, I was friends with Kirk Jerkham. I'm not anymore. But we were friends for a really long time, and there was a lot of people in the club who, like, wanted him dead. But I was always like, well, they're club members, and that sort of comes above whatever relationship I have with this other person, because as much as it sucks, and we can say, like, I mean, the club's a lot better now about, like, us having friends and significant others or whatever outside of the club, but it still doesn't change the fact that, like, club comes first, even though we're, like, you know, more open to people outside of the club being friends and stuff. And I don't know, I just, at least to me, just because I'm speaking from my own experience here, it really fucking hurts when somebody who is a fellow jacket, or multiple people who are, you know, fellow jackets, who you would bleed and die for, and it just sort of feels like somebody who's outside of the club, for however short of a time they know them, was more important than you.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
No, it does. And that's kind of why I don't... Like, I had a very similar situation to this. It was around the whole prison stuff, and I don't know where you're with the Aubrey and Kaz stuff. You about that?
I heard about it a little bit, but since it kind of happened, like, with the prison stuff, I didn't hear about it that much. I sort of, like, heard it in passing after it was sort of dealt with, kind of thing.
Well, I had a very good friend. His name was, we call him Cade. and he lived with us, and he was somebody that. Oh.
Hi.
Hi, Stevie.
Hi. I didn't know if you were gonna be awake, so Finn has the car, but he can give it to you. By the way.
Finley?
Yes.
So we got it. One more person interrupts this fucking
Yes.
conversation.
Yeah. He's around. We're just having a quick chat, and then we can catch up. Yeah. Thank
You're all-
you.
Yeah,
No,
you're all
it's
good.
You're all good. You're all good.
Oh, I thought this was like Kelly.
What?
Oh my god.
I thought it was Kelly.
Oh,
They look nothing alike. Hello.
Okay, well, I'm taking that off then.
Oh my god.
I guarantee you someone else is going to come in and tackle you. I guarantee it.
How does this always happen?
I know. Well, we are, I mean, we're not, we're
in the
standing,
village,
yeah, exactly. But yeah,
It's okay, yeah.
yeah, was one of the closest people I had. And I had a conversation with him a lot, like I've had conversations with Kaiba where it should be very self-explanatory that these are conversations between us that don't go anywhere else, right? Like I shouldn't have to preface every conversation I have with somebody that, you know, unless it's like super sensitive, that, you know, this is a conversation between us. It's not free information for anybody else, especially if it's pertaining to a certain person.
Yeah.
So I spoke to Cade and was warning him that, you know, essentially if Kaz, not even warning him, but just like stating a fact that if Kaz was going to keep hold of Aubrey's cars and keep them hostage and, you know, not give them back, that he very well, you know, could find himself getting hurt. And Cade went and told him that. And that got construed into me threatening him or the club threatening him, and that got put all over Twitter, and long story short, I haven't spoken to him since I got out of prison. And I have no plan to.
Yeah.
And it's very similar to this, I guess.
In the interest of things that are very similar, I want to tell you a little story, which I'm sure maybe you've heard parts of throughout time, but the first time there was ever a... Was it the first time? Might have been like the second time. No, because the first time I don't think there was a blooding out, it was just people leaving. So I think it was the first time somebody got blooded out. I can't remember, my memory's bad. I'm so old, Sean. We had a club member called Wolfie. He was my jacket. And the reason he got blooded out was because a situation had happened where the stable, which was a group at the time, there was some suspected snitching going on, and it had to do with a lab. And it was a lab that we were involved with. And somehow some information got out, our name was brought up. It was like a whole thing. And we, as like a club, had a little meeting that was like, yeah, if we see these motherfuckers, we're gonna have to have a conversation with them. But it was sort of like one of those things where it was like, you know, quote unquote conversation. Because we were all pretty pissed off because we could have gotten like drug trafficking and shit.
Yeah.
And Wolfie, his best friend was Kirk Drickums, who was one of the... I don't know if he was a leader. I don't know how like their system worked. It seemed like it was like a four-way leadership. I can't exactly remember, but Kirk was one of those people. And somehow it got to the stable that we wanted to go to war with them. We never found any solid proof because this was the club back in the day, and it was, well, Wolfie has a relationship with Kirk, and I mean, this was also the time when Dundee was like, I don't know, he was raging at the time, like, I don't know. It was a fucked situation, and I like don't think it should have ended the way it did for what we had, but it was just sort of one of those things where somebody in the club said to somebody outside of the club that we intended to hurt them, and the whole like thought process of that was like, well, what like that gives somebody like a heads up to like get us, quote unquote, you know?
Yeah.
And it was a really big deal. And so I guess like for me, like you telling me this, like obviously I'm trying to have like an objective look at this situation, but it's hard for me because it's like that kind of shit, like talking to
Hey,
somebody
guys.
else is like, hi, I want to talk to you after, but we're just having a little convo quick.
Yeah, of
I want
course.
to
I
talk
just
to
want
you.
to say hi.
Okay. Hi. Like it's hard for me because it's like that's the kind of shit that got somebody I really cared about. I mean, fucking blooted out. Like that's how seriously we took it at that point, you know?
Yeah.
And like I know things have changed and everything, but like
It's still the same
I don't know.
premise.
Yeah, and I guess it's just kind of like that hurt plus like I don't know, again just that feeling of like somebody outside of the club feeling more important than
Like,
me as a jacket, you as a jacket kind of thing. I don't know.
speaking of,
Yeah. Fuck. I mean, I wish I had more advice for you other than like, I'm sorry and I understand how you're feeling.
yeah. I just don't know. Like, I haven't been put in this situation yet, and
It's hard and like I think that's the thing is like all of us as like other club members, we can all like look at a situation like this objectively and been like, oh well, XYZ. I don't have a radio, I've been asleep for so long. My shit's rusted out. But like it's just sort of like when you're in the moment, when you're faced with somebody who has hurt you and you're faced with the fact that, oh shit, this person is important to people that are important to me. It's such a weird fucking thing, and it's difficult and it's hard because like you're like, well fuck, I don't want to hurt people that I care about by like being a dickhead, but at the same time it's like, am I being a dickhead? No, I don't think so. This person made me uncomfortable. I should put those fucking rules down. But it's hard to balance because, you know, everybody's gonna have their different thoughts and opinions about something. But I just hope you know that, like, I don't want you to ever feel like you saying no and, like, being like, no, I'm not fucking doing this anymore is ever, like, the wrong thing when it comes to somebody making you uncomfortable. And I will fucking back you on that if you ever need me to. I will back you on that because, you know, this is your home. These are the people that you're going to be around every fucking day, probably until you die. And you don't deserve to be in a situation where you're like uncomfortable like that or feel like you can't be around people or talk to people in your club because of a specific person. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Because that's fucked. So,
Yeah,
obviously,
it's...
I mean, I'm not gonna like cry and be like, oh, what did like high command say? Because that's like none of my business. But
No, I mean, I think it's everybody's. Like, I'm not gonna like keep this secret away, or it's very much like the way everybody gets held accountable. Just people know,
Yeah.
right? There's no like decision on like in terms of like with Kaiba. I guess they're gonna talk to him. I'm not like questioning the club or have issues with the club or what they're gonna do with or if I'm gonna be backed or not, right? From a club aspect, I don't have any issues with that. That's not my worry.
okay.
My main worry is that somebody who, I mean, the first person I talked to about ever joining BBMC was him. He was my jacket. He's somebody that I put a lot of trust and faith in. And that's just
I
gone.
feel like it's broken.
and I don't know how to process that because the last time it happened, it was my best friend, and I haven't spoken to him since I have been out of prison.
And that's not really something you could do with a club member.
No. And like, I had to coexist with two people that I hated in Redline, right? I'm not worried that I can't do that. Like, I'm fully capable to do that. It's not going to cause any
It's
issues
just
in
that
the
you
club.
shouldn't have to.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want to do it.
Well, I once again wish that I had better advice
I know,
for you, but
don't worry, I'm
no,
not looking
it's
for an
just,
answer. It's just...
no, I know. It's just it's hard hearing all of this conversation come up when I literally went through the same thing like 3 weeks ago, and I am also currently in a situation where I'm like, there is currently 2 people who I felt personally really, really close to and who were really, really important to me, and who I obviously on a club level will always trust and care for and fucking protect. But I thought that we were like on that on a like a deeper personal level, like we get it kind of thing. And to have that sort of gone in an instant is
Yeah.
like a really fucking weird
It's
feeling.
whiplash.
And
It's just...
and I don't fucking know how to process it either, because it's like these are people who I obviously am gonna work with, and I'm gonna like I'll fucking die for them, and I care about them, and that's never gonna change. But it's like fuck, like
It's more than that as well.
yeah, it's like I don't know. It makes me feel kind of sick in my stomach, actually. That could also be the IBS, though.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah. There's a tendency to...
You know, do the IBS thing. Either way, yeah, it's, I don't know. It's frustrating for me to hear that, because obviously, like, fuck, I just went through this, and I was, like, really hoping that how I felt when that happened was, like, I wouldn't wish that upon anybody else, and it sucks to hear that it's happening to you, too.
Yeah. Again. Yeah, I appreciate you listening, and I don't particularly want to talk about it, and I probably won't. I'll just deal with it eventually. But no, I appreciate it, and
Yeah, of course. I mean, I know I'm not command or anything anymore, but like, I mean, I was a prospect when I fucking went up to Dundee and told him to go fuck himself. So, listen, I'm not like...
I feel when it comes to stuff like this, I don't give a shit what rank you are, or like, you know, what rank you were, or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
Like, you've been here
I know,
so much longer than I have. You have context to so much shit that I will never have. You have so much knowledge when it comes to the club that I wish I could have.
Well, if you ever have questions, I love to share. I don't think that... I'm not in the spirit of, like, hiding shit, because it's like, oh, look, fuck that. It's better when we're all know shit. But yeah, I don't know. I just...
Whenever you come around, if you just want to talk, or just even educate me on stuff that I probably don't know about, just assume that I don't know about it, and I'd be happy to talk about it.
Alright, good to know. I, have roughly 2 weeks, in my head where I really gotta think.
Yeah.
Really hard for 2 weeks,
Yeah.
and then after that, it's freedom. It's freedom, baby, and I can fill your head with all sorts of crazy shit.
Well, we'll bookmark it 2 weeks.
Yeah. Okay, perfect.
But no, I appreciate.
Yeah,
I
I
appreciate
don't
this.
want you to feel like you're alone, because
No,
you never are. I know it's like easy to like say that and everything, but I really do fucking mean it, because yeah. And it's especially in this fucking situation, because I unfortunately feel like a little bit like I'm looking in a mirror. It's too bad my red hair dye washed
Right.
out this week, because yeah.
Yeah, it's the one thing I'll give the club credit for is A few people have said it, like, you know, you're not alone. Don't, like, if this isn't, don't let this be a reflection of the club, right? And I couldn't even doom if I wanted to doom, because it just wouldn't make sense, because the club has done everything in its power to show that that I'm backed by everybody.
Yeah. And I will say this in the same breath, because I am somebody who has doomed a lot in my past. But it's in situations like this, it can be, I don't know, just take it easy on yourself. Like, I know for me, I used to like get extra mad at myself because I'd be like, fuck, I feel this way, and I'm being extra stupid because it's like clear that the club supports me, but I still feel this way, and then like I would like spiral on that. But you're allowed to feel how you feel, and you can feel both that the club has your back, but also still feel kind of like about something. And I think those two things can coexist, and they're not like mutually exclusive, you know?
Yeah, I agree.
That's just even.
No, I definitely agree.
I'm glad you get it, because there's there's a lot of people who will be like, no. So
some people live to question, some people live to, you know, contradict and be that, not even devil's advocate, but just, you know, they won't always agree, right? Because they don't, like,
Yep.
not everybody operates the same.
Yep.
Never
Part of being
will.
human. All right, I'll stop talking your ear off. I'm gonna go. I gotta congratulate Shang and Winston on their jackets, and then
Yeah.
I gotta go return to my house and be unseen for 2 more weeks.
Well, 2 weeks.
Really a blink in the
Seriously.
eye if you think about it.
Honestly,
Oh my
in the
God,
big picture, yeah, it definitely is.
All right, bye.
See ya.